Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the April 26, 2021 full moon in Scorpio, or it can be the April 27, 2021 full moon in Scorpio, depending on your geographic location. Now, there will be a super full moon in Scorpio on April 26, 2021, and a supermoon in astrology, is like a regular full moon in terms of its impact and effect on others, but I mean, it is in closer proximity to the Earth, and it may be a little more intensified and amplified in terms of its effect on people at this time. And the thing is, the transit can collectively impact all zodiac signs, but especially those that have the sun, moon, or ascendant in the zodiac signs Scorpio or Cancer. Scorpio, of course, because it's going to be in their sign, and Cancer because, well, the zodiac sign Cancer is simply affected very strongly by all transits and phases of the moon. Remember that the moon does govern and rule the zodiac sign Cancer. A lot of this could be connected, I would say, why the zodiac sign Cancer can be so fickle, moody, and temperamental. Now, another thing is that, I mean, when you look at this, when you're talking about a supermoon in astrology, I would say its effect can be a little bit stronger than a regular full moon, but not quite the same impact as you could say, like it's a lunar eclipse as an example. A lunar eclipse can be very, I would say, life-altering type of experiences. They could be things that transpire when you have a lunar eclipse that can have such a monumental effect on somebody. But when you have in a regular, I mean, let's say, for example, somebody has this transit in the sixth house, right? Now, if you had a regular full moon in your sixth house, it could be, for example, in Scorpio, it could be some issue like with the groin that might be very minor, that maybe comes to light and is unveiled. It could be just some little pain there that really doesn't amount to much. It's nothing overly serious. Now, let's say you're talking about a supermoon, and you have the transit in Scorpio in the sixth house of your natal chart. Well, it could be maybe a little bit more serious. It could be, again, going back to a groin situation, something that might be a little more painful or stressful, that might be a little bit more serious injury to it. Or it could be some issue like, say, with the colon or the prostate or the bladder, that might not be anything like really like life-threatening or anything overly prodigious or monumental, but it might be something where you have gone to a doctor and they might say, well, you need to do such and such to improve the functioning and condition of one of those things. So there's the prostate, colon, and bladder can be associated with Scorpio, and if it was, and say for another example, going to a lunar eclipse as an example, well, that could be something a little bit more serious depending on the aspects that the lunar eclipse in Scorpio in the sixth house were to make, and in conjunction descendant adverse aspects to the sun, Mars. It could be something where, again, something with the colon, bladder, or prostate. It could be a revelation of some cancer within some isolated cases, or something where you might need some kind of surgical procedure. Those are, as an example, that's where I would see the difference between a regular full moon, a supermoon, and a lunar eclipse. Now, the thing about this is, since this is in Scorpio, this is something where, I mean, full moons in astrology can be connected with completions or culminations of things. This could be something with manipulation. Maybe if it's in the 11th house, it could be a manipulative friend scenario. It comes to an end at this time. It might be something with jealousy, whether it's expressed on your part or toward you. Maybe an obsession or fixation situation. Say if it's in the 11th house, maybe there was an obsession or fixation, with a friend, or with astrology, or computers, the internet. It could also be, in some cases, it might be an obsessive or compulsive issue. Say if this falls in the 12th house, in some cases it could be the mental illness where maybe, I don't know if that's the kind of thing that could end, but if there was something going on with that and it has potential to end, maybe at least it gets to a moderate level, or it could be some disclosing or unveiling of this kind of issue. Uh, Another thing too, it could be the completion of a transformation in some cases. Say if it's in the 12th house, it may be a spiritual transformation. A power struggle may come to an end if it's in the 10th house. Say it might be a power struggle that you might have endured with the dominant parent, which is often the father or an authority figure, such as a boss or a supervisor or superior. Some cases it may even be promiscuous behavior. This could be whether it was by by the person that has this transit or a person that they knew. Um, it could also be something that's diabolical or corrupt, may come to an end if it's in the third house. Say maybe there was something in your neighborhood that comes to an end. Maybe there's crime that's coming to a completion, or at least is lowered significantly. An investigation may reach its fruition at this time. Say if it's in the fifth house, maybe it's something over, it could be a child or a lover perhaps. Uh, and something that might be, surreptitious or secretive. If it's in the 12th house, it could be a clandestine relationship, maybe ends at this time. Now, another thing too about full moons in astrology, and this one being a supermoon. Now, there could be a greater propensity for accidents at this time when you have when you're talking about full moons. It could be, given that it's in Scorpio, maybe it could be something due to vengeful or vindictive behavior on the road. Say if you're driving, it could be a very powerful expression of very convoluted and turbulent, very irritable feelings and emotions. It could be one of those things, okay, I'm going to gain power over this other driver. I'm going to cut in front of him or her. I'm going to slow down, make things difficult for him or her. Other car winds up ramming you in the back, for example, as a result, or had an accident trying to cut somebody over. Now, another thing too, this can also be, and remember that this is, Scorpio could be connected with things that are nuclear. It can be an accident over something at a nuclear power plant in some cases. This could be a thing too, when I look at this, that full moon in astrology can be associated with revelations and unveilings. Now, it could be something connected with something nefarious or diabolical, maybe even obsessive behavior. It could be a stalker in some cases. If it's in the third house, say, it could be a stalker in your neighborhood. If it's in the fourth house, it might be one that's really impacting your emotional security and safety at this time, more so than the average situation with the stalker. It can be a criminal background, may come to light on somebody at this time, something that you may not have known. Um, Again, the fact that we're talking about a super full moon, it might be something of a more serious nature than a typical full moon. A full moon, for example, might be something, with petty theft that could be revealed as far as a criminal background. But when you're talking about, a supermoon, it might be some kind of larceny, or maybe something where it was more of a greater amount of money that you find out somebody was involved in, connected with a robbery. And also too, when I look at this could also be, jealousy is connected with this as well. It could be, revelation of an overly jealous partner, or some kind of obsessive compulsive issue that one may have at this time. Hold on a moment. Now, in some cases, uh, we talk at full moons in astrology can be about also, when we become tired, exasperated, or simply full of something. Now, it can be maybe it's somebody's obsessive behavior, compulsive behavior. It could be somebody that's constantly trying to show their power over you. It can be, something that's overly sneaky or surreptitious, people going behind your back, for example. Maybe it's a controlling person, someone overly domineering, a caustic or sarcastic individual, maybe being manipulated, and just manipulative behavior in general. Now, it could also signify the ending of a Scorpio career. Now, especially if it falls in the 2nd, 6th, or 10th house in one's natal chart, it could be something working as a coroner or a surgeon, um, working as a detective, investigation, forensics, psychology, psychiatry, embalming, alchemy, doing something with the supernatural and occult, which can include astrology. It can be working in a death profession, such as a funeral director, mortician, a coroner. Could be doing something with insurance or working as a tax examiner, billing and coding. And the thing about this is, what's got me a little concerned about this particular full moon in Scorpio is the fact that, okay, we're going to have, Pluto is going to be, going retrograde, I believe, shortly after this. And Pluto is associated with viruses. Now, when you have, full moons in astrology, everything else, at the time of the transit can be intensified because they're taking place at the same time as this. Now, and you're talking about, too, the fact that it's a supermoon. And Pluto retrograde could be going, maybe the coronavirus the situation regressing with that, because Pluto can be associated with viruses, although that's going to happen, I believe, shortly after the full moon in Scorpio. And I don't think it's at the same time of it. But the fact that this is a supermoon in Scorpio, too, could also be some kind of revelation or unveiling, I would think, that is associated with the coronavirus. It can be maybe something where there might be a resurgence of this. Remember that there are variants and mutations of it, and Scorpio is connected with transformation. So it just makes me, it's something to be, a little bit concerned about. And remember that when you have the full moon, in astrology, of course, the moon is opposing the sun, and the sun is connected with life and the physical vitality and energy. So this could be adversarial to people's life when you have this transit. Sun in Taurus can be manifest in a life connected with stability, peace, tranquility. So, it's something. And also Uranus is going to be conjunct the sun at this time. And that could be very, strong upheavals. It can be also something in people's lives, but at the same time, on a positive end, that could also manifest in being more innovative and coming out with something innovative. Full moons in astrology can be about bringing out things that are innovative. Some of you may have heard of some kind of robot litter, GAD scoop. That is connected with waste. Scorpio is connected with waste. We might see something innovative comparable to that coming out. At this time, it might be something connected with refuge. And that's our refuse. I'm thinking the word is garbage, waste, some innovative, garbage compacting device. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.